SJ. Welcome to Mvskoke Radio, your weekly source for tribal and community news, interesting guests and discussions, plus a local events calendar. SJ Stongo, Gary Fife, Jaho Jifkidos, Mvskoke Radio, Mabu Hedge to Wedgekis. Here we are in the studio. Sitting in with me is my colleague, what's her name there?
Morgan Taylor. It's Jay, everybody.
It's a special day, actually. It's your birthday, right?
It's my birthday, yes, it's my birthday, and it's International Women's Day.
Yes, so a couple of things to celebrate there. We have a couple of projects here that we'll be talking about in today's program. First of all, we'll have Nelson Harjo from our election board to kind of give us a preview of what we've got coming up later this year in the elections. And in the second section of our program, we have another piece from our good buddy Jared Moore on the activists who were arrested last year during their Leonard Peltier demonstration in downtown Tulsa. So we'll get a good feel for what we've got there. But first of all, let me pull up Nelson and we'll be off and running here. Good morning. Okay, Nelson, you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. You got something going on there behind you?
Yeah, I got my dad in there next to me, he's talking.
Okay, well, if
he's trying to be a little bit quiet.
Okay, well, if we can turn that down, we'll be in pretty good shape, I think. Okay, well, we're going to let Morgan take the lead on this, and if you can get the radio or whatever it is turned down for us, that would be certainly helpful. Morgan, take away.
So I think they're traveling. They're going to Arizona. Is that right, Nelson?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Yeah, they're going to the outreach program for the at-large citizens, and I hope you guys get several people signed up to vote and registered to vote this year. Have you guys had any luck getting people registered?
Got a business call right now. So. Yeah, at the moment, I think we're seeing a lot of the ballot requests that are coming in. That's the main thing that people are focusing on at the moment. But we had a outreach that we did this past month in Oklahoma City. We had 30 people register there to vote. Now we're going out to Arizona, and hopefully we can get our citizens out there excited, registered to vote, and get them set up to receive ballot requests, whatever they need while we're out there in Arizona. We've actually averaged, on average this past year, around between 35 and 40 voter registrations every month. So we're registering on average that much every month. But the problem that we're having, especially this past a year and a half, the past 2 years, is we're having a lot of our registered voters that we have on record right now, a lot of them are passing away. So we're really not seeing a big net gain for what we're doing, because we register one person to vote, but guess what? We're having to remove another person because they passed away or they're deceased. So if that kind of clarifies anything.
Okay, so I see where you're talking about, but 35 to 40 a month, that's fair, and why should people get registered to vote? Like, what is coming up that we need all the voters we can?
Well, I think we have already previously discussed this. But one of the main reasons why people need to register to vote and to participate in our elections is one, it's their right to vote, and two, that's the way that you make that's the loudest way to make your voice heard when it comes to the direction of the tribe, because you are electing the leaders of the tribe. So if people want their say in that, then that's the best way to do it, is to cast the vote.
Yes, we have discussed this, and one of the points you brought up last time was kind of participation, and it's not just a tribal issue, it is a national issue. You know, we have very low voting numbers, people don't like to participate. But you did mention that every 4 years, you know, we have the chief election, and that's what's coming up this year, and you said that sometimes you do have an increase in numbers, is that correct?
Yes, we do see an increase in voter participation when it comes to our chief elections. It's not only is it 2 extra offices that are on the ballot, because it'll be chief and semi-chief this year that will be up for re-election. But people seem to be interested in who the chief is. It kind of correlates like the same way that the voting participation for a presidential election goes up versus whenever the president is not on the ballot, because everybody's really interested in that person, because much like the president of the United States, the principal chief of the Mvskoke Nation is the de facto face of the tribe. And he's the biggest public figure that we have, so everybody is really interested in that, and that's why that's one of the reasons why I believe we see that voter increase in the chief election.
So we have National Council Representative Seat A, right? Or is it Seat B?
Seat A.
Seat A. And sometimes I've heard previously that at-large citizens don't participate in representative elections because they don't have one. So can you kind of explain or clarify why it's still important for them to participate?
Yeah, because even though there is not a representative that is strictly for the at-large or voted by at-large citizens, and when we mean at-large, we mean people that live outside the reservation boundaries. It's really important for them to cast a vote, because who knows, the next person that's on the ballot might, look into some of those issues that they're really concerned with, or some of their needs, and might be able to do some of those things, and get some of those things accomplished on the council. That's the thing. You don't know if those things are going to be possible or not if you don't participate in our election. Because if you don't vote, then it's the same thing as re-electing a person, or you're letting somebody else decide who's going to represent for you if you don't participate.
Right. I think that's a really good point. And speaking of at-large citizens, if you are an at-large citizen or even a registered voter at that, you may have recently received your absentee ballot request form in the mail from you guys, or from the election board. Can you kind of describe why you guys are sending those out so early?
Yeah, one is obviously time. We want to give all of our citizens ample enough time to get that ballot request completed and signed, get that sent back to us, which they can return that back to our office through fax, email, or through mail, and it gives us more time at the office to make sure that we are getting everybody double-checked to ensure that they're on the list to receive an absentee ballot when we go to mail those out in August.
So I can see that you guys are taking very high caution in preparation, and I know in our last election there was a little bit of a mail discrepancy, and so what else are you doing to help prevent those measures?
Well, the discrepancy that you're talking about, that was with the U.S. Postal Services itself. There was some issues that, and this was on a national scale, that the previous presidential administration had enacted with the United States Postal Service that caused a lot of chaos and slowdown on their processes, and ultimately that ended up hitting us I believe the Chickasaws, when they had their elections, I think it was that same year, had issues with their absentee ballots not getting returned when they should have. So we weren't alone in that little. But once again, was the United States Post just their failure to really get stuff where it needed to be when it needed to be there. But what we have done since then, since that little mishap in the primary election, is we've gone to a priority mail absentee ballot, so that way we have a guarantee that our absentee ballots are going to be the first thing that is delivered in the mail runs each and every place that the mail is transported to before it ultimately gets to the local post office.
I think that's great too, because I don't want people to be discouraged, especially if they live far away, that their ballot won't be cast. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that for everybody. And so I think it's great you guys are making the investment in the priority shipping. So this year, what's your deadline for that? I'm sorry, before I move on to the next thing, what's your deadline for your absentee ballot requests?
So the absentee ballot requests need to be into our office, I believe it's August 23rd. It's the 23rd or the 24th. I don't have it right in front of me, but I am about 99% sure at the moment it's August 23rd. And it's on the ballot request form itself. So that shows you when the deadlines are. Yeah,
they have about 5 months there. So if you could at any time before August, just mail that in, get your request form in if you would like to vote absentee. And what is can you define an absentee voter for me?
An absentee voter, that is anyone that is saying that they will not be present on the day of election and that they are needing to cast their ballot by mail. So whenever you sign up for an absentee ballot, you will be receiving your ballot in the mail several weeks before the election, and you can get that ballot, fill it out, and you mail it back to the local post office, where the election board will go and retrieve it and get it counted on election day.
Do you guys typically have quite a few absentee ballots to hand out?
Yes, we do. Matter of fact, the last 2 elections, well, I'll take that back. The previous chief election back in 2019, there was an almost 50-50 split in the amount of ballots that were cast in person and the amount of absentee ballots that were sent in. So I looked for some kind of another 50-50 split this time around, if not more. We'll just have to wait and see as our population ages. I think we're starting to see more people request absentee ballots, and that's just how things naturally progress. So I think the last time we received a little over 2,500 absentee ballots in the last chief election. So I'm expecting to have at least 2,500 come in, if not, around 2,700 this time around. But who knows? If we get 3,000, well, then that'll make me happy, because I think that'll show signs that we're getting more people to participate.
So if that's a 50-50 split there, you're saying we have about 5,000, 6,000 total votes cast in?
Yes, there was around 5,600, I believe, 5,300 voters in the last chief election.
And how many are registered to vote?
All of those would be registered to vote. Or are you talking about in general?
Yeah, in total, sorry.
Okay, so we have right now, we actually ran these numbers last week. We have 17,993 citizens as of the end of February that are registered to vote within the Mvskoke Nation.
Wow, that's it's a rising number, but it's definitely for almost pushing 100,000 citizens, around 90 or so. That's about 20%. Would you say 15%?
Yeah, definitely below 20%. we would like to see that number. And, we make announcements. We put it in the paper. It's on our Facebook page. It's out there. So we just hope people start taking advantage of, the rights that they have as citizens to elect their leaders.
How do you guys attract new voters? So, like, maybe how do you guys get younger adults to try to register?
Well, a lot of these issues, I believe, and what I have seen and read is that a lot of this does start in the home. So whenever you are in a family, or if you're around people that tend to vote, well, then more than likely you will tend to vote. And if you start voting at a younger age, let's say, as soon as you turn 18, which that's the legal age to register to vote in most places, if you do that and you participate, well, then the odds of you being a voter for the rest of your life are even greater. And we do try to put out education materials. We have, pamphlets. For this past year, we've worked quite a bit with the Mvskoke youth, and we have actually had 2 of their members become registrars to go out to their different functions, to the places that they go, and help us with the registration process there.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, we're preaching kids and our citizens that are more of their age.
Yeah.
But I can tell you right now, our youth now, they look at me like I'm an old man, which is strange, because at one time I was in their shoes, but that's how they see us now. So it's a lot different coming from a person their age than it is to me. They're like, hey, you're old, why should I listen to you?
Right, yeah. I'm experiencing that now because, like today is my 27th birthday, so I'm like in recent years just exiting kind of that age where you're not young anymore, but you're not old. So it's like, weird transition, and you're like, they don't think you're cool anymore, so they don't want to listen to what you say. So I'm like, go vote, and they're like, oh my God, you are getting old.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Did Mr. Price sing happy birthday to you yet?
Yeah, he's about to sing for me now.
All right.
No.
We'll save that to the end of the program.
Okay.
I just wanted to kind of address one more thing. So to be able to run for office for any of these positions, when are you guys taking requests for that?
So the candidate filing period is going to be the 3rd Monday in July. It'll be the 3rd Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of July this year. So the board and I are still going over some of the formatting of the forms and things of that nature. Once the board approves the final version of the candidate filing forms, we will be making an announcement. I'm hoping that we can get that done here in the next month, so people can have that well ahead of time, so that way they can, study up on it, look at and see what all they need to do to apply as a candidate. So short answer is we're still working on that, but we're hoping to get that out here within the 6 months or so.
I just want to go ahead and say that my teacup is out for anybody who wants to spill some tea on who might be running. So if anybody knows where any good juice is, I'm here for it. No, I'm joking. But so are there any events coming up that you guys might be attending or at where people can come to you and find you, look for information, or get registered to vote?
Well, this weekend, of course, me and a few of the staff will be out in Arizona at the Gila River Reservation down in, it's just south of Phoenix. We do have a sizable Mvskoke Creek population out in Arizona, so we're hoping to go out there and get some more voters. So we're also looking to update information for the existing voters that we do have out in the Arizona area. So they will be there definitely. But I do believe we're going to be making a regular visit to the Oklahoma City Resource Center. So that way our citizens out in the Oklahoma City area and in the surrounding communities can come there and see us there. But at the moment, I don't think we've had a whole lot of other places planned. I think we're going to actually start talking with the community centers here again and scheduling some meetings with them. So, of course, when we do attend the community meetings, we'll have voter registration up there and available to people that are attending the community center meetings.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, you might consider those wild onion dinners as a good place to kind of recruit people, because I know that people like them wild onions. So.
Oh yeah. Do you like wild onions?
Love them. I love them, but I don't really know how to cook them. I just show up after they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
I don't cook them, but I sure will eat them.
Yeah, I don't want to mess them up, so. Well, is there any other information today? Maybe a place where people can go register, or a phone number they can call, email?
Yeah, our office number is 918-732-7631, and that's our front office phone number. So if you need to get a hold of us, ask questions, whatever you need, just hit us up on that phone. And on the tribe's website, you go to Mvskoke Creek Nation and scroll down until you find us. We're on a list. We're the election board. And if you click on our link on the tribe's website, then that pulls up all of our forms, information that anybody might need in order to register to vote, update their information, or even we have a ballot request on there as well. So
I updated mine not too long ago because I had an address change and I got my new voter card in, and it's pretty cool. So everybody needs to go do. I sound old. It's pretty cool, my voter card. But thank you, Nelson, for your information today and your time. And I hope that you guys get there safely and home safely as well.
I appreciate that. You guys have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
I'd like to thank Nelson Harjo for taking time on his trip out west to chat with us and fill us in on the upcoming election and associated materials. We're going to take a short pause here, and then we're going to be back with our submission from our good friend at Mvskoke Vision, Jared Moore, on the activist update on their court appearances and things afterwards. So please stay with us here on Mvskoke Radio.
Hear that? That's the sound of hope being killed by meth. Methamphetamine use is causing huge problems in our community. Hear that? That's the sound of something you can do about it. Events like rodeo, res ball, and family time can help keep kids away from meth.
Talk to your kids. Keep our culture alive. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Learn more at ncai.org.
Who am I? Am I native? I don't want people assuming things because I'm Indian. I just want to be me. But how do I live in two worlds? Some guys just check out by doing meth. But that ain't for me. Because I see my family, my friends, my drum making, my future. There are a lot of cool things about being who I am. And meth isn't one of them.
Learn more at ncai.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
All right, we have another piece from our good buddy Jared Moore on the activists. They were arrested in downtown Tulsa, but went through a tribal court, and so he's got an update on what happened to them and what the future will hold for them and their ideas.
Have with us Mr. Chuy Cavezos, and he is with the American Indian Movement in Indian Territory, and he also runs the Oklahoma Community Watch YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us today, Mr. Cavezos.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, and just for a little context for the audience, the reason we're having Mr. Cavezos on today is because a couple of weeks ago we ran a story that was an update on some protesters being charged in tribal court. And this was as a result of an altercation that happened at a protest to free Leonard Peltier. There was a video associated with that story that we put in the video and had a link that was from Mr. Cavezos' Oklahoma Community Watch channel. We put a link to his channel and that video in the video description of this video, but it's also, and that story is also in our video description. If you're just watching this, you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, go watch that video and it'll get you up to date on the events. But we got contacted by Mr. Cavezos to have him come in and tell what happened, because there is, I think a lot of people are curious about what led up to the actions that we saw in the video, because it's kind of scary, really, and then the everything that happened after that. So thanks for coming on the program, and if you would, could you tell us, kind of like what led up to that confrontation that happened?
Well, to my knowledge, it was a peaceful day. We had a lot of prayer, singing, praying, speaking about Leonard. And we were parked there in that area for over 2 hours, in that same area that they're talking about. Several officers passed by, never said a word. And all of a sudden this officer pulls up real close between the cars and gets out and starts yelling, "You guys got a permit to block the roads?" and all that. And so I walked over there when I heard the commotion, that's when I had my attention to there. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I'm trying to de-escalate, making fun, hey, your tent's too dark, just trying to change things around. But the officer just got in his car, got out of his car, got back in, got out. And they're trying to say we're blocking traffic, and there's several other videos out that clearly shows that there's no video that we did not block the traffic. But this officer came up, one of the warriors was telling him, call light horsemen, get out of here, call light horsemen. And that's what I was yelling also. Mm-hmm. And he continued to put hands on the warrior. And he advised him, you could hear him clearly on my video, where he clearly states, if you continue to put hands on me, I would, like an act of war, and I will defend myself accordingly. And he continued to do it and escalated to where it ended up happening.
Right. Right after the video ends, could you kind of tell us, like what happened after that? What was the results of that?
Well, they had 2 arrests. And then everybody just stood around. They stood around for about another hour. I think they were trying to see if we're going to disperse or leave. And
you're talking about the federal agents and the police officers.
Yes. And so we stayed. I was able to catch them taking one of the warriors into custody when they put him in the car and all that. But after that, it was pretty calm, But we got to understand, there's a lot of things that went wrong in this video. Besides where the officer got pushed down, a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's a bad thing. I want to let everybody know we have the right to defend ourselves on unlawful touch, even from law enforcement. They do not have any control or power over you until you've broken the law. That officer, what he should have done was either got in his vehicle and stayed in there until backup came, or left and then waited till backup came. So he violated a lot of policies.
Yeah, and we're kind of doing some coverage on our end. We've done, Mvskoke Media has actually filed for a FOIA to try to get from the Department of Justice, and I'm talking about the federal government, what the guidelines are for local law enforcement inside the reservation as to how what are they being trained as far as how they're supposed to handle these situations when they're dealing with native citizens, right? I'm just curious, did any light horse or any native law enforcement ever show up?
No, not to my knowledge. And I was there to the end. I waited till all our elders were gone, and then that's when I left.
I see.
So, not at one time. There's another thing that really bothers me is, as a lot of us know, our medallions and our jewelry that we wear is sacred. Okay. Well, the Warrior Brother I have it on video. You can go see it on the video, one of the videos I got, where he clearly says, "Could I get a native? Could I get someone to take this off?" Well, he had a knife there too, but he wasn't talking about the knife. He was talking about his medallion. And they blatantly and there was a native officer there. That would have, you know what I'm saying? It would have been okay for him.
Right.
And they violated that too. They're violating our rights left and right, and it's sad.
With the situation being as it is, and I want to again tell the audience, just this is, if you have any questions for Mr. Cavazos about the incident or anything else, go ahead and pop them into the chat and we'll ask away. And while we're talking about it too, your Oklahoma Community Watch YouTube channel, and for the audience, there's a link to his channel in the description of this video. Could you kind of talk about what you're doing there? Because there's some interesting videos there, and what's your objective with that?
My objective is to hold police accountable, and also to educate not only the public, but sometimes we have to educate law enforcement. And there's a lot of people that their rights have been violated and they don't know their rights, and they're afraid to get out there because of retaliation. Well, and no matter what we do, there has to be a warrior somewhere, and that's where I think I step in, and I want to make sure people learn their rights. I try to have a little fun while I'm out there doing it when I'm cop watching. I'm usually pretty respectful, but it depends on how the officers come up to me. I got a couple videos where my language ain't the nicest, like on this last video.
Right.
But it's part of what happens in the heat of that moment, and
yeah,
I can't go and apologize for the actions at that time, because at that time it was the heat of the moment. So I'm not going to apologize for my actions. So
you guys also had weapons drawn on you, so the adrenaline is definitely going to be there in that situation.
Yeah, but that happens also in the auditing world. I usually go and film cops when they pull you over, or if there's a wreck, I try to document that. And things of interest, public interest, and public meetings, things that the movement does, educate people, because some people could get out too. And I like to show them what the raw footage, and I'm just trying to be paying back to society,
Yeah. And it's something that people aren't exposed to a lot too. You'll find, or I find, that because the mainstream media has to maintain relations with police forces and things, so they don't want to show any type of infringements or anything. And a lot of times, if you go, there are a lot of channels on YouTube all over the country, and you can Google it. If you're in the audience, you don't know what auditing the police is, just Google it. You can see what it entails. So how did you get involved with the American Indian movement?
Well, thanks for asking. That's a good question. Growing up in California, my family was involved in the Chicano movement back in the 70s. And so I was brought up in knowing about AIM, knowing about Leonard Peltier, and all these other great warriors before me. And when I moved out here to Oklahoma, I've heard, I heard about AIM, so I followed them, and I would support them and go to them, and I prayed to the Creator one day, and the Creator said in my heart that it was time for me to take that step and stop being behind the scenes and stepping forward. And so I was good friends with AIM Indian Territory, everybody there. And so before I did that, what I did though is what a lot of people don't do is I'm kind of old school. So out here where I'm at, the Camp family are the first AIM for Oklahoma, Carter Camp. You know, everybody knows them in the movement, Casey Camp, all the Camp family. I went and got their blessings, you know, one of the Camp brothers' blessings prior to going and offering my, you know, my services. You know, so, and that's how I got into it. It's just, I've always been an activist in one way, shape, or form, but I've always been behind the scenes. But, you know, like I said, the Creator told me it was time for me to stand up and be up in front.
I see. So the individuals that got charged from this situation, their charges got transferred down to the tribal court, and that's what our previous coverage was when that was announced by the nation. Do you know if AIM is planning on doing protests down here in relation to this? Because I know we've seen on social media a lot of calls for some charges to be brought on the officers and so on and so forth. Do you know of any plans on that type of stuff? Or has AIM been in contact with the Creek Nation government or anything?
As far as I know, I've not heard nothing of that nature. I've kind of been busy with other stuff over here on our side. I could just say this. We just lost a sister, Lana Kay, here recently, so we've been kind of mourning her.
I see.
You know, and I just want to say God bless her. So, you know,
I'm sorry for your loss, sir.
But, you know, she was a great woman. But that's why I've kind of just been sitting back, you know, and just, you know, doing my mourning. But I am in contact with the two that were charged. You know, I don't know if they found that third person. I don't really know the guy, the third person. So
could you elaborate on that? I was just going to say, could you elaborate on the third person a little bit? Because for some of the people that might not have been following this on social media, they might not know, you know, like what that topic is.
Okay, there was a third person that was involved in the moving of the officer between the cars. I guess you know, during that. And there was a gentleman there with tattoos on his hands and on his face. And you know, we've seen him a few times, but we weren't really familiar with him. And apparently they were looking for him also. You know,
I see.
But but all they were saying at first is that they were looking for the guy with the tattoos on his hands. You know, so
I see.
A lot of people were wondering who.
Right. Yeah, that's a broad net.
Yeah.
So, with the ongoing situation since the McGirt ruling, in particular, with these on the boots on the ground jurisdictional problems, do you know if are there any protests that AIM is planning in the future in the Tulsa area or in the Mvskoke reservation in particular?
I believe we're discussing possibly doing something in the near future, but I think right now everybody's still trying to.
I see.
You know,
go through the morning.
It's a big. It's been a little heavy for a lot of people. You know, even with the arrest, you know, coming up with the funds to get the brothers out. You know, just all the so everybody's kind of taking a little.
I see.
Slow down.
On the planning front, has there been any discussion of maybe, you know, like for instance, before you guys go do a protest or something, contacting Light Horse and seeing if Light Horse can escort you guys or something like that, like contacting tribal law enforcement? Because it's kind of a situation.
I know in the past they have done that. I'm not the one involved in the coordinating of the protest. I'm more in the background, so
I
pretty
gotcha.
much excuse me. What I do for AIM is I'm security, but also I'm mainly the videographer, and I make sure to try to document our events of what happens in case things like this happen.
I see. We've got a question in here, and I don't know, it's not really directed, it's not AIM specific or anything like that. We have a regular viewer, TY Prol. He asks, should Mvskoke tagged vehicles driven by citizens run toll booths inside the res boundaries without paying in protest? just for me to answer that, I would say I wouldn't recommend it, just for the fact that right now they have all those traffic cameras, and that with the if you look at the coverage that we have previously, right now income tax is being debated at the federal level, whether the native citizens are going to pay that. So I can guarantee you any traffic fines or anything like that, they're just going to go ahead and mail it out to your address. In fact, I think they actually started a program on the Creek Nation Turnpike in Tulsa where like you can go through those things and they just take a picture of your license plate and then they mail you. It's not a fine, they just charge you, they send you a thing trying to get you to pay whatever the toll was. But what do you think on that, sir?
Don't break no laws.
I think that's it. That's a good advice to give anybody. Don't break any laws.
Well, if you want to do something in protest, do it.
Okay, welcome back to.
Looks like we have a little problem there with the CD player there, so that's not anything new. We have a ton of community notices, so maybe we'll take the time to share those and keep ourselves useful. I tell you what, I think the most important we'll start with is a list of some of the wild onion dinners that are coming up in the next weeks. As a matter of fact, we've got one coming up this weekend at Sapulpa Indian Community Center. That's the Pickett Chapel United Methodist Church Wild Onion Dinner. That's March 11th, Saturday from 11 to 3. And that's in Sapulpa, of course. On the 18th, Wild Onion Dinner at the Mary Lee Clark United Methodist Church, 1100 Howard Drive in Dell City. It's a long haul for wild onions, but I'm sure there'll be people who do it.
I'm sure it's worth it.
On the 18th, oh yeah, they better be good.
Yeah, I know it's worth it.
On the 18th, the Wild Onion Dinner fundraiser for Claudia McHenry at Okima's Indian Community in Okima. And also on the 18th, Wild Onion Dinner at Placo United Methodist Church. No particulars on that, but I imagine it's going to run from 11 till 3 or whenever they run out of Tavambachi. Okay, and one that I like, March 18th, the Wild Onion Dinner at the Tulsa Indian Methodist Church. And that's 1901 North College in Tulsa. Right after that, also on that same day, come to think of it, is Big Caseta, is the Wild Onion Dinner there. No further information. On March the 20th, dinner at the VFW Post 3707, 300 East Choctaw Street in Tahlequah. Go have a Tavambachi with the Cherokees there. Okay, April 1st, we're getting toward the tail end of this. Wild Onion Dinner in Springfield United Methodist Church in Okima. And on the 22nd of April, dinner at the Angie Smith Memorial United Methodist Church in Oklahoma City.
Well, that's quite a few dinners. It sounds like no matter where you're at in Oklahoma on the reservation, you should be able to find one in the upcoming months.
I'm ready for this one in Sapulpa this week. Now, we mentioned that we have International Women's Day, and you have some facts there that you can share with us, please.
Yeah, so International Women's Day celebrated on the 8th of March. Like, naturally, that's my birthday and Women's Day at the same time. International Women's Day has been observed since the early 1900s, with the first one being celebrated in 1909 in the U.S. It was a way to honor the 1908 garment workers' strike in New York. That's interesting. Interesting fact. The first official Women's Day was observed in 1911 with more than 1 million people attending rallies and marches in Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland. It was recognized by the UN in 1975. Women are underrepresented in leadership positions around the world. And with that fact, I'd like to say that and make a comment in honor of my grandmother, who was the second chief from 92 to 96 under the Bill Fife administration. She's still yet to be the only woman to hold an executive position at the tribe.
And who was that?
Shelley Crow.
Right.
Yeah. So to me, that's pretty cool. With it being election year and today being Women's Day. Another thing is the Violence Against Women's Act. It's a global issue with 1 in 3 women experiencing physical or sexual violence in their lifetime, and for Native women, that number is higher. So we want to raise awareness on days like today, for that. And speaking of that, on March 30th, there will be a survivors benefit, and I'll get you more information here in just a second on that as we go through these community events. So happy International Women's Day to every woman out there. You is important and you is beautiful, and I don't remember how the saying goes, but yeah.
Is you is or is you ain't. Okay, by the way, March the 9th, coming up tomorrow, the invitation goes out to Mvskoke veterans for coffee and donuts from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Veterans Building here in Omogi. And if you got the stomach for it, or you can beat off the heartburn, perhaps, Mvskoke veterans are invited to chili for lunch from 10 to 1 while supplies last. And you want to give them a ring at 732-7739.
I believe they have those every Thursday as well, the Veterans Coffee and Donuts at the Veterans Affairs Building. So that's something for veterans to do weekly. Check out and get your free coffee and donuts and hang out with your vets.
Right.
Another thing, the Scholarship Foundation is accepting fall applications from March 1st to June 1st. That's about 3 months there to get your applications in for your fall awards. Please do that as soon as possible because funding is limited. This Saturday, March 11th, the Eufaula Indian Community Nutrition Center, 800 Burks Road in Eufaula, is hosting their Wild Onion Dinner from 11 to 2. It will be $12 and for 13 and over, $6 for 12 and under, carry out only.
Okay, is that it for that one?
That's it for that one, yep.
Okay, yeah, I guess it didn't get included in that other list.
Oh, looks like they will have a rummage sale for the elderly group fundraiser, if the weather is permitting.
Hey, that sounds like fun. I always find something there.
Yeah, a little knick-knack.
Okay, we have several others. March 1st through June the 1st, the Mvskoke Creek Nation Scholarship Foundation application window. So if you'd like to apply for a scholarship, 918-732-7754. From March the 3rd through April the 22nd, 13 counties exhibit every Friday starting March the 3rd. March the 13th through the 17th, the Mvskoke Nation Lighthorse Tribal Police Department is hosting a Youth Police Academy during spring break with an award ceremony March the 18th. Now, this is for youth ages 11 through 15. You want to contact Melissa Beaver at 918-732-7813.
To add to that, for the 13th through 17th is, I think, spring break for most kids. So if you're out on spring break and your child doesn't have any plans, they're doing spring break at the council house. Each day there will be an activity with the 13th starting at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. They're going to be making corn husk dolls. On the 14th starting at 10 a.m. they'll be doing storytelling. On the 15th at 2 p.m. clay making. The 16th at 10 a.m. Flint napping demonstration. And the 17th starting at 10 a.m. they'll be reading with royalty. That's a mouthful. And mini mat weaving. So supplies are limited and first come first serve. The Tribal TANF office is holding a camp for 11 to 17-year-olds the 14th through the 17th. finger weaving, clay making, Mvskoke language, Mvskoke history, all that good stuff. To get registered, there's only 20 spots available, so call Tisha Sewell at 405-452-1109. Mvskoke hymn singing on the 25th from 3 to 5 p.m. And I believe that might be it. Oh, here's the Women's Empowerment Support Group for Survivors. It'll be on March 16th and March 20th. The 16th is at Mvskoke from 2 to 3:30, or March 23rd at Otmulgee from 6 to 7:30, and March 30th at Eufaula from 6 to 7:30. You can call 732-7863 for more details on that. It'll be a good thing for our women who have suffered from sexual violence or domestic violence.
Right, those cell phones are hard to read sometimes.
Yeah, I'm like having to zoom in and I can't tell, but we got it.
You're getting old, you need glasses.
I do. Everybody says that. I'm like, I can see, I swear.
Okay, a couple more here. March 16th, Creek Singing, 6:30 at the Otmulgee Nutrition Center. And on the 17th, Indian Taco Sale, yum. Also at the Otmulgee Indian Community Center. Elders, 2900 North Osage Place on the 17th from 11 to 2.
They make some good Indian tacos over there.
Oh boy, I can just see my numbers running up here.
Uh-oh.
Getting my blood pressures and all kinds of crazy things. One more, Oklahoma Tribal Finance Consortium Spring Conference. That's March 22nd through the 24th. And that's NICOA conference in North Carolina. No, that's not it, is it? Yeah, it is. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. So let's take 5 here.
Oh my Lord. I knew y'all was up to something.
Hello, up there. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, they can hear you.
Hey, everybody. We just wanted to come in. This is Braden Harper, managing editor for the Mvskoke Media, and Kaylee Berry, one of our other reporters. And we just wanted to let all of you people out there know that it is our very own Morgan Taylor's birthday today. So happy birthday, Morgan.
Very own.
Yes, and you should complete with sash that's upside down.
Oh, it is. It is upside down. My birthday,
That's so you
yeah.
can read it from your perspective there. And there we go. So it was.
And they bought me my favorite treats.
Yes,
oh my gosh.
we got some strawberry shortcake rolls because we know those are your favorite.
Yes, I eat them like crazy. Everybody who knows me knows that I eat these every day almost. Like I can't live without them. So you got me stocked up.
Yes, I was about to say we knew that there couldn't be. I know most people usually do cake, but we wanted to do the strawberry shortcake rolls.
This is Morgan's version of a cake.
I'm gonna get all of them and smash them together and make one big cake.
Oh, well, it's easier to handle this way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Anyway, we just wanted to take this time to say happy birthday.
And he's in the process of lighting the candle.
The candle.
Anyway.
It's something we don't usually do in the studio here.
No. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Morgan. Happy birthday to you.
My wish is that we all win the lottery.
Oh boy!
You're not supposed to say what your wish is, otherwise it won't come true.
Well, if you win it, you can share it.
I will, yeah. I will.
If we all win, that means a little amount.
A little love for everybody.
Share the wealth.
Or we may never see you ever again.
It's probably more likely.
Yeah, so if anybody smells anything weird, it's just her birthday candle here. Now, you've been with us now for how long?
I've been with Mvskoke Media going on 3 years. I was hired on March 23rd, 2020.
Mm-hmm. I interrupted you while you were
Yeah, I was about to
taking
say goodbye. I was like, I better talk first.
Do that. I had a friend once up in Anchorage who had a birthday, and her co-workers did the same thing, and she bit into a big cookie just as they asked her a question. So the next thing you hear, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah. That was almost me just now.
Yeah. Crumbs spewing all over the keyboard and the microphone. So it's 20. Do you ever think that you'll be 27 or what it would be
I was
like
just
to be
saying that this morning, how it's kind of I know it's not an age that you're like surprised to be, but it's like when you're young, you don't really believe you're going to get older. Like you see older people and you're like, I don't believe in it. I'm going to be young forever. But I don't even feel 27. Feels like 17 was just yesterday, not 10 years ago. But here we are.
Yeah, I know. I keep thinking about like how we're closer to 30 than we are 20 now. It's weird.
Yeah, and like I was looking on my memories on Facebook, and it was a post of me and you like in high school, and we're just standing there in high school, like, and we have like matching shirts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, we look so different. We're so different than we were then. It's funny because I've known Kaylee like my whole life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've always been really good friends.
Like 20 years. That's how I feel old. Is like
Yeah.
now that I have friends that I've literally had for 20 years.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
my
hard to
gosh.
believe.
Uh-huh.
Here's to the next 20, sis. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Now, I keep hearing you saying, "Oh my God, it's so weird to be this old." And try being 72.
I hope I make it.
Just switch those numbers
I
around.
know. Gary turned 72 in September, so I hope I make it that far.
Well, if you do, it's just fine. It beats the alternative.
Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah.
You're only as young as you feel.
Now, when I see the two of you and Kaylee together and working or playing or laughing or whatever, it reminds me of that movie, and I can't remember the title of it. See,
If you say Dumb and Dumber, no.
no, I was thinking Scarlett Johansson and Thora Birch. They were young, graduating from high school, and hated the world. Nobody remember? No, am I the only old guy that saw that movie?
One thing me and Kaylee do is, and we'll crack up, you probably hear us laughing all the time, is we constantly say the same thing. Like, it's so
Yeah.
funny.
No, it's stereo. Huh?
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, we'll say the same thing all the time.
And just off the wall. And so,
What was yesterday? Yeah.
It was. I just still don't know what movie it was from, but it was just like the.
What was it? We did that at the same time out of nowhere.
Okay, well, while we're still on the air, let's wrap up a little more business here. There are still a few announcements there to share, so why don't Braden and Kaylee read those for us?
Okay, so we also have coming up March 26th through the 29th, the Spring Revival at Belvin Baptist Church. They're going to have supper at 5 p.m. in the evening, or in the evening services start at 6:30. And then Sunday night, they're going to have Reverend Junior Pratt. Also is March 15th, the April Discover Bible is offering Native New Day Bible studies. This is a 30-lesson series that is done by correspondence. And if you want to contact the Discover Bible School, their mailing address is P.O. Box 14208, and that's in Tulsa 74159.
And a little ways down the road on April 29th, the Tulsa Creek Indian Community Spring Fling Arts and Crafts Sale is seeking vendors. It's $10 a table. All vendors must fill out the Mvskoke Creek Nation vendor license sales license application. And for vendor info, you can call 918-298-2464.
And then also on April 3rd from 6 to 9 p.m., the Intertribal Hymn Singing will be happening. And if you need some more information on that, you can email raineaton at ou.edu. It's RAINEATON at ou.edu.
Okay, is that the end of our list there?
Yes.
Any final word from our birthday girl here?
I just want to tell you all thank you, Mado, for the strawberry rolls.
Now you can bite them.
It made my day.
Yeah, she already got half of it.
Thank you, everybody. Mado for listening to us today, and Mado for having me, Gary.
Okay, well, she joins us here on Mvskoke Radio here in living color, HD. And we want to remind you, of course, we'll be back next week. And our crew here also works on Mvskoke News, so you want to make sure you get the new paper. That just hit the stand, didn't it, the last edition?
Yes, sir, March 1st.
Okay, so check it out, folks. It's out there. Now, while we're still killing time here before we get out of the way, I believe we've got everything fairly well covered. And if you've got any ideas and want to get in touch with Mvskoke Media, please give us a call at...
You can reach me, Kaylee, at 732-7642.
Yep, and mine's 7644.
You've been listening to Mvskoke Radio. Join us again next week for more local, tribal, and community news and updates. But